Good morning, everybody. This is Carroll, the dietitian. And this month, I thought we'd take a step back from all the specific things that I typically talk to you about, like typical vitamins or minerals or typical foods. And we're going to focus on macronutrients. And what macronutrients are, they're the type of food that your body requires in large amounts. So we're looking at calories that come from carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Those are your macronutrients. Without macronutrients, you have no energy in your body. And without energy, your body just does not function. So macronutrients, the technical definition, sorry about that, are the nutritive components of food that your body needs for energy and to maintain its structure for your bones and its systems, your heart, your lungs, your liver, your kidneys. So we'll just back up a little bit. So all the nutrients we need to survive are our energy nutrients, which are your carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. You also need vitamins and minerals, you need fiber, and you need water. You need all 7 of those components to have a healthy diet. You can go a day or 2 without a few. Things like water, you shouldn't go much more than a few hours without, or some type of fluid. But you can go a couple days without taking in any fat at all, and nothing bad would happen. But in the long run, you need all 7 of those different components to have a healthy, balanced diet. Some people ask, is water then a macronutrient because you need it every day? It's not considered a macronutrient in that water provides no calories, provides no energy, and pure water really doesn't have a whole lot of nutritive value at all, other than the fact that you would die without water. Your body needs water for all the chemical processes that happen every day. So just assure you need a lot of water. Your micronutrients are the vitamins and minerals that we talked about. So again, micro versus macronutrients. You need micronutrients in varying amounts in your diet, ranging from super small amounts like copper and manganese and cobalt. You need such tiny amounts of those that you can just find them in the regular foods that you eat. And then you need larger amounts of things like calcium and vitamin D, sodium and potassium. Those are the ones that you typically would get a supplement of if you don't get enough in your diet. And every time that we've had these talks, we've always talked about balance, and that's just the most important thing, because if you had to sit there and figure out every little micronutrient and all the macronutrients and the amount of calories and all that you need every single day, you'd be exhausted just trying to plan your diet every day. So eating a wide variety of foods, fluids, fruits, vegetables, whatever, you are going to get the macronutrients and the micronutrients that you need, okay? The 3 main functions in nutrients, all of your nutrients, are to provide energy, to contribute to your body's structure. Again, without calcium and phosphorus, you're not going to have bones. So contribute to your body's structure and to regulate all the many chemical processes that are occurring in your body every day. Water, vitamins, and minerals don't produce energy. They don't provide your body with energy, but your body needs them to process all the different functions that your body's doing. So the macronutrients, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, those are our body's energy source. And we get that energy from the food that we eat. So if you think of your body like a car, you can have the prettiest, shiniest car in the world, but it doesn't go anywhere without gas. So macronutrients provide your body with the gas that you need to run your body. Macronutrients and the energy that are produced from them are important for cell growth, for breathing, for blood transport, for walking, talking, exercising, picking things up. Everything is dependent on energy. If your body doesn't have energy in the form of calories, then your body's not going to function well. So the 3 macronutrients, again, are carbohydrates, and they give you about 4 calories for every gram of carbohydrate. So if this was a gram, this little paper clip was a gram, and this was a carbohydrate, that would give you about 4 calories. Same for protein. Every gram of protein is about 4 calories. Fat, every gram of fat is about 9 calories. So you can see you get double the amount of calories from fat for the same amount. Alcohol, which many people ask me about, is actually a 4th source of energy or calories in our diet, but is not an essential nutrient. It does provide energy in the form of calories, about 7 calories per gram. So somewhere between carbohydrates and fats as far as calories go, but it doesn't contribute anything to the nutrition of your thing. It just gives you calories, okay? So the three main nutrients that we're going to talk about are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So carbohydrates are all broken down into your body into the form of glucose, and that is your body's preferred source of energy, glucose. Carbohydrates, your body is very, very capable of breaking down carbohydrates in any form, whether they're simple carbohydrates like sugar, syrup, soda, honey. Quickly breaks down into blood glucose and gives your body energy. That's why people eat a candy bar for a quick pick-me-up. Complex carbohydrates are things that are found more like, say, in this whole grain bread or wrapped up in fruit. Complex carbohydrates take your body a little bit longer to break down, but they give your body a great steady source of energy. So you'll find that more like in your elite runners and things like that, that they load up on those carbohydrates, those complex carbohydrates before a race, so they have that steady source of energy to carry them through the whole race. Complex carbohydrates take a little bit longer to break down, and the complex carbohydrates are typically where you find a lot of your fiber. And fiber, we talked about that, one of our earlier talks, is so important in maintaining your regularity. It gives you a sense of fullness. So those are all from your carbohydrates. So when you hear people say, oh, I'm on a low carb diet, I don't eat carbs, they make me gain weight. Carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram, fat has 9 calories per gram, and alcohol somewhere in the middle with the calories per gram. So it's not that the carbohydrates cause you to gain weight, it's that you might eat too many calories, whether they come from carbohydrates or protein or fat. What makes you gain weight is eating more calories than what you burn, but it's not the carbohydrate that's making you gain calories. The second macronutrient is protein. We all know that protein is essential for our body to grow, build, and repair tissues, protects lean body mass. Protein is part of muscles, which help attach to your bones so that you can move your bones up and down. Your heart is a big muscle, so you need protein to keep your heart moving, protein to maintain your skin integrity. Proteins are composed of amino acids. There's 2 types of amino acids, and we're not going to get really technical, but you have non-essential and essential amino acids. Non-essential amino acids are the ones that your body is so smart it can produce them on their own. It kind of pulls it from all kinds of different foods and it produces them themselves. Essential amino acids you have to eat for your body to consume, for your body to be able to form them. So you can get those from protein-rich foods like meats and poultry, fish, eggs, milk, cheese. For people who are vegetarian or vegan and avoid all those animal-based foods, you can get your essential amino acids as long as you eat a variety of plant proteins. So you're going to beans and lentils, nuts and seeds, as well as your grains and fruits and vegetables. So if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you have to plan it a little bit better, but you can still get all the essential amino acids you need. Therefore, having the building blocks for the protein that you need. The last and most concentrated form of energy is fat. And we could probably spend 2 or 3 sessions just talking about fat, but we don't have all that time. So again, fat is the most concentrated source of energy, 9 calories per every gram of fat. You need fat in your body. It's the most concentrated form of energy. It cushions all your organs. It helps in making certain hormones. It helps you absorb the fat-soluble vitamins. It keeps your skin nice and soft. So you need fat in your diet. There's 3 types of fat. There's the saturated fat, the unsaturated fat, and the trans fats. Trans fats have pretty much been eliminated from most of the American diet. They have found over years that trans fats are the leading cause of heart disease that, comes from overeating fats. So in a lot of these labels, I pulled just a bunch of things from my cabinet. Every single one of them had 0 trans fat. So years ago, you might have found trans fat in things. Nowadays, you don't. But you have saturated and unsaturated fats. Bottom line is all fats have the same amount of calories per gram, but some fats are better for you than others. So I think in February for Heart Association Month, we'll do a topic on fats. The last thing I wanted to tell you, or to just kind of sum it up, is that for balance in your diet, you need carbohydrates, you need proteins, you need fats. You don't want to limit yourself to just certain things. There is no such thing as bad foods and good foods. It's all about the balance. And I wanted to show you just a little bit, looking at different foods, what I'm talking about with the carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So for example, here's a vegetable oil, canola oil, and here's the olive oil. Okay, two totally different oils. They both per serving have 120 calories per serving, and a serving is 1 tablespoon. So 120 calories in 1 tablespoon of fat. And that's because when you look at the label, all of the nutrients, all the calories come from fat. There's 0 protein and there's 0 carbohydrate in these two things. All the calories come from fat, but they're different types of fat. So in this vegetable oil, you have 14 grams of fat, 1 gram is saturated, 4 is polyunsaturated, 9 is monounsaturated. Same amount of calories from olive oil, 14 grams of fat, but you have different amounts of saturated, polyunsaturated, and monounsaturated fat. They're both cholesterol free because they both come from plant origin. Anything from plant origin is always going to be cholesterol free. Nuts, a lot of people like nuts for protein, but for this, which is about 28 nuts is a serving, about 1 ounce, is 170 calories. And out of that, 16 grams of fat, 5 grams of carbohydrate, and 6 grams of protein. So a nut contains all of the macronutrients, but most of the calories are coming from fat. And again, there's a little bit of saturated fat, no trans fat, some polyunsaturated fats, and some monounsaturated fats. So different types of fats, but they all contribute the same amount of calories. Something like this, which is a can of tuna. A can of tuna has 110 calories, the whole can. Every single one of the calories comes from protein. No carbohydrate, no fat in this particular type of tuna, and so on. And then these are 2 examples of foods that all the calories come from carbohydrate, which is what you would expect, a can of pineapple or a jar of cherry jelly. So 2 slices of pineapple is 60 calories, and that comes from the 15 grams of carbohydrate that's in there. All right, so that's our talk for this month. I have a little flyer that I'm going to send out. It's about the macronutrients, and it talks about the carbs, the proteins, and the fat. And it also shows that they overlap a little bit. So carbohydrates, which are your fruits and your vegetables and your grains, the ones that have a lot of protein are your beans and your lentils. So they kind of overlap with the protein group. And then you have the protein group down the middle, and then you have some things from the protein group like milk and cheese that also overlap with the fat group, because a glass of whole milk has more fat than it has protein. You get fat and protein from a glass of milk, but more fat than protein. So I'm going to send one of these around with you. It just shows you the 3 overlapping macronutrients, and that your diet should never just be focused on one. So that's it for this month. I hope you all have a happy fall, and I'll talk to you again in November.